There is no social problem you can fight. You don't confront social problems. You denude social problems. And you must be scientific rather than eclectic. What we are into is eclecticism. If we see it work in Britain, we graft it. We put it here. Without knowing that the doctor who says you should take the malaria capsule also asks that you should add multivite. Just go straight for malaria capsule. And the damage is done to the system. So that is the problem. All this hula baloo about fighting corruption, the throwback that you are seeing is that you do not confront social problems. Armed robbery has been an age-long problem. You kill an armed robber, the next day they become more dangerous to their victims in an attempt to escape.
Why? So, because they know that if they're caught, they'll be killed?
Exactly. So what is the scientific content in our approach to issues? That's why I talked about strategic thinking. You must get people who know to sit down. Take the little instance of the period of Idiagbo and, of course, Buhari, because that is the only administration that the number 2 man appeared to have gotten so much mention. Buhari, Idiagbo, it used to be Babangida government or whatever, Sanja, whatever. Because this guy, Idiagbo, collected a number of his, teaching cabinets who were intellectuals. And, of course, don't forget that he himself had a master's. Perhaps a functional master's. Now, he got them because you need to have a functional degree to have the confidence that if these people advise you, it is not that they are trying to outshine you. I don't know whether I get it. Yeah. We need people who have confidence, not inferiority complex.
So could that be part of what contributes to maybe advice is given and it's not really taken?
That is fundamental. How can I take your advice when it means that you know better than I do? But the good heads look for those who are better than themselves, because it takes a good head to assemble good people and understand the meaning and nuances of technical advice. And then the confidence to take them in and implement without any drudgery that perhaps they will take credit for it and all that. And unfortunately in Nigeria too, when you are appointed a minister or you are appointed into an office in Nigeria, you lose the content of your head. You hear them that the so-and-so person in authority graciously agreed this thing that you were supposed to have sat down to think through. You attribute it to the other person being gracious enough. Where is our education? Where is our education? If you cannot assert yourself in the area of your own core competence, then you have no business being there.
Does it mean that we're far away from getting, because there are lots of fantastic, world-class people in this country?
Yes.
Who won't come out to you for anything?
That is the issue I'm talking about. Because you easily be rubbished by those who are assembled. Let me give you an instance. I don't like people who praise me, because that means you have nothing else to talk about, because after they praise you fizzle away. But if you criticize, you must do it definitely. If you are intelligent, you do the criticism in an intelligent way. Not that you have not done anything, because even the bad thing you have done is something. The only thing is that you may have not done it right. Now, you don't say that somebody is stupid. His act can be stupid. So sometimes the word we use will also put the other person on the defensive. Like when you say, we are going to fight corruption. Corruption would have taken position, laid ambush for you, and you are making just a verbal pronouncement, no strategy on ground.
I'm very interested in what you said about not fighting corruption and
Yes.
denuding it. What do you mean by that?
Now, the geographer knows there is a seeming romantic relationship between rocks and flood. Whenever there is rain, water or flood go through rocks. The rocks think that this thing is cleaning the dust on them. Over the years, the rocks lose their shape over time, depending on the velocity of the water, the volume of the water that passes through. Do you get the point? Mm-hmm. So when they talk about agents of denudation, these are things that help to vitiate the capacity of a particular substance from exercising its full potentials without it knowing. For example, if you talk about unemployment, You don't throw money at unemployment. It's a roundabout way. Before you know it, the thing will whittle down. For example, if you do a program that makes sure that the individuals that are coming out from schools are highly competent. You know, there are so many unemployable graduates milling around. All you need to do, just put an email, a small advert somewhere, and you have the so-called PhDs that they said applied for trailer, whatever. What does it tell you? There's nobody who goes through the university system and the university system went through that will go for a cleaner job for him to hold out. That means you are not good. If somebody comes to these channels, and even if there is no job position, and the person shows remarkable competence, he will be on the waiting list. And it will only be a matter of time. But the fact is that many of these graduates today spent all their useful time in the university doing cultism. No thanks to Nigerian politicians who use them and dump them. And then many of them, they are left on the middle of the road. If they speak English, even some so-called PhD holders cannot write a single letter that will be acceptable. This is a fact. Listen to some of them when they're even talking on certain media houses and see how they use the English language, which is the medium of communication. You may not have read English, but that is the medium. So how do you communicate your ideas when you are not thoroughly schooled in that medium? That is the point we are making. So most of the time, the ones that said they have certain qualifications, they end up doing menial things because man must work. But if you are very good in your area, there are jobs everywhere for those ones that are good.
You know, two in one you just raised here, the job creation as well as education for the Nigerian who is out there. Earlier in the week, I think it was on Monday, we talked about education and we had to go back to the system which we practice, the 6-3-3-4 system, which at that point in time we were told that even as a graduate of JS3, they said you can graduate, you can leave if you just don't want to continue. You can be on your own by yourself.
When I finished elementary 6, well, there might be an improvement now, but I spoke very well as elementary 6 graduate. And I wrote very well with beautiful writing. My writing has even gone down now because I would construct it, you understand? So I had that formation early in life. So also with many people that went to school in those days, where you were so studious. In fact, the competition we had as undergraduates was based on your capacity to speak well and demonstrate intellectual prowess. That was the only way. Nothing like cultism. We didn't know such things. You understand? In the midst of others, you want to distinguish yourself. That's the way to do it. But now, you know, it's the side of gun you have and how brutal you can be.
So, still on education, is it the system that we're practicing that is skewed or bad? Or
the system, because most of the people, many of the people, let me not use most, many of the people who are at the helm of affairs are products of the bad educational system. Okay? Now, we have always looked at education is a process of socialization, even with the content of conscientization within a gamut, and pedagogy and andragogy. Now, you have to define the policies based on what age you are addressing.